So hi everyone, today in this video I'm gonna develop another mental model that can be helpful for you in order to obviously you take best type of decisions since decisions are based in data, knowledge, information that you have about the world. And mental models are like studies that people have done in all the fields that they can be taken, economics, technologies, innovation, thinking. So they're taken as patterns that have been shown to be true in thinking have been shown that introduces to good type of decisions outcomes in innovation introduces in things that are created as new that have positive impact in people's life, and in the case of this video we're going to talk about the one that applies in history. And then so mental models in history are like patterns that we take that were applied in the history that we have studied, and the main takeaway is understanding them to not repeat in the future the same heroes that these patterns have so created in the past. And then so I already expect you to help me by subscribing and afterwards seeing other videos to make you a better person. And then so today we're gonna talk about a specific type of phenomenon that happens with societies that's called Malthusian Trap. Why progress always hits a wall. And then so the main question is that we got from the studies, why do civilizations stop progressing? And then so this thing happens has been happening in the history of the societies, that so they can have a tendency to progress, but sometimes they kind of hit a wall that they cannot pass over this. And then so this mental model is a pattern that we have understood, that is so the one that the progress always hits a wall, and we're gonna so try as well to understand why this happens. So obviously it starts by the question that you have understood, if it's something that you got to take away from the study of history is that progress always hits a wall. You have to start so by wondering why so many ancient civilizations grew rapidly and then suddenly collapsed. So was the main type of characterization that we see about the societies that so take us to kind of study if these arguments that the progress always hits a wall, it's something that's true. And then so what do we have to understand as well? Why did human progress remain stagnant for thousands of years before the Industrial Revolution, specifically? And we kind of see that the answer lies in a powerful historical model called the Malthusian Trap, which explains how population growth constantly cancels out economic progress. So what do you have to understand about this mental model? Developed by Thomas Malthus in 1798, this model states that anytime technologies or agriculture improves, it leads to population growth. That's easy. So why? Agriculture improves. Agriculture improves, increases the efficiency, and then so by increasing efficiency, it kind of so says that the quantity of things that I put and I put as a seed, we're gonna get so produce much more food than we were in the past. So the evolution in agriculture. By having more food, so we have what? We have one of the most fundamental concepts that are and things that has to exist for people remain existing and reproducing. And then so if the agriculture improves, if more so food is available, people will kind of have so more kids, and then so the population will grow. Technology the same. If technology improves, you can have so more time for do the activities that are needed for so have a kid. If so, example, probably in the past, if you have to work 8 hours, you have to walk till so your zone to your your room of work, you're gonna have so to take like 3 hours walking probably. Right now, by the technology that we have created, like the cars, even the airplanes, a bus, so it kind of takes away a lot of the time that you need. That is not so a time that you are producing. It's a time that you are so getting allocated to the place that you're gonna produce, and then so takes you more time to make production, which so helps you to get more type of outcomes, and then so as well again providing more resources to you in order so to build a family, since you're gonna have more conditions to provide for the family, the people and the persons that you're gonna create. And obviously what happens as well, like a second order effect of the improvements in the agriculture improves and technologies that are like the main type of things that we see if they evolve, we see so the society is progressing is mainly in technologies. And then so when technologies improve, it leads so to population growth. But what happens as the population grows, resources become scarce and living standards return to subsistence levels. So what you see that the progress is not like a chain that we never came back. So we can create technology and agriculture type of things, and technology that improves our agriculture type of efficiency, other type of components that are like that are important, and technology has an effect. And what you see that obviously is increasing population growth, but it doesn't change one specific thing that happens. That is, the resources are always going to be limited. And then so what sometimes can happen, efficiency sometimes not leads to us consuming less resources like materials. Sometimes happens one specific thing that I've talked about in a prior video, that is the rebound effect. Sometimes by increasing the efficiency of using something, it leads to us even using more, because we understood that the same type of resources that we're spending in the past will remain expanding now. But now, just because has become efficiency, we're gonna consume more, but we're going to remain in consuming the same in terms of, for example, money. If you have, so you need gasoline, and gasoline now is a specific price. If decreases, probably not just gonna spend less. What are you gonna do? You're gonna spend the same, because you're trying to enjoy now that the things are are a bit so cheaper, and then so you're gonna spend the same, but then so you're gonna get more. But what happens? This doesn't change the fact that this is the limited resources, and then so by increasing the efficiency, that's what the best thing that technology brings. It helps, and it creates so a more type of need for more resources, and obviously by consuming even more resources, more prone so we were to get scarcity of them. And then so when exists scarcity of things, of that thing, we need to reorganize, and sometimes this increases to some type of devolution or involution, and then so we come back for our living standards prior to the technology was created, because technology has been created to increase some lives, but sometimes if the people don't get so regulated and they don't understand what they're doing can impact the environment, then so it doesn't lead to good effects. Sometimes can be abuse that happens with not adopting the second order thinking. So societies get trapped in a cycle where progress always gets wiped out by overpopulation. And what's case signs of Malthusian Trap? Economic gains are short-lived because more people share the same resources. Famine, disease, and war act as natural population checks, and is a thing that happens. So when we come back, more people are vulnerable. Natural selection, depending what so is the thing that happens. Probably in the past war is so the creation of wars. World War II worked by increasing of the Industrial Revolution creates so much people and the resources remain scarce. Then what happened? People now were so fighting for the resources, the nations, and these obviously have cut away a lot of the lives of the people, and this so have restored the population to a more kind of control level. Obviously now we come back to the normal. We have suffered as well in the initial of the 2000s with the people talking about the overpopulation of the world. And then so another shock, come some diseases, come wars, come other problems. Obviously not talking if they're like they're created with intention or just like intentional, but they tend to happen, and they were so to restore the population to a number that tends to be a more sustainable in long term. What I see there is a tendency today is a tendency for the elites putting a lot of emphasis in people consuming less protein in order so to the society not creating environment that's not sustainable, because protein, we have a lot of the narratives of the cows that create so specific gases that go for the, like mainly the cows that go so for the gases go for to atmosphere, and then so by being for the atmosphere go so and create bad type of things like climate changes. And so what do you create? The incentives, the government's obviously not going to create wars and things. They will not create wars and will not try to cut away the freedom of decisions of the people, but they will create incentives. Incentives to people go for more vegan choices, incentives so for or making it harder, like using economic type of strategies for people so not reproducing, like the houses getting. It's like it's not a relation of cause effect, but it's things that are too good to be like truth. And then so these specific things that it's difficult to create babies right now, it's difficult to get new houses. Obviously it has other account like offer and demand, it's like economic rules that happens, but are things that they kind of create a whole context that makes it the people to grow more in populational wise. And we have seen that by talks that we talk about overpopulation is a problem, but what is will be the best way is obviously avoiding people to reproduce, but it's not ethical. And then so people and people that govern that are in government, they act a bit more like invisible with invisible hands. And then so obviously this is something that happens today, but we have seen in the past, like in ancient Rome. Rome expanded and conquered lands and increased food production, but as the population grew, food shortage and economic pressure lead to crisis. By 40, by so at a certain time, Rome collapsed, partly due to resource strain and internal conflicts. We have the medieval Europe. After every agricultural breakthrough, population surged, but food supply couldn't keep up, leading to famine and disease. And we have seen the example of the Black Death. Life expectancy and wakes remained low for centuries after that. You have the China's dynastic cycles. Chinese dynasties grew wealthy through agriculture and trade, but once the population outpaced food production, rebellions, wars, and collapse followed. So the Industrial Revolution, it bring the trap. So the, as happened so between in 1750 and the 90s, or in 1900 was the first time humans kept the Malthusian Trap. So was uh, exception, but his exception that confirms the law. So what happened in the Industrial Revolution? Instead of just increasing food, we created machines, industries, and modern medicine. So we're not just creating food, we're creating another type of technologies then probably so-called create a more sustainable environment or just like providing more food for the people. This allowed for sustainable economic growth without hitting resource limits. Birth rates declined in developed nations, preventing overpopulation. So what happened? We, by increasing the technology of food, is obviously things that its cause effect tends to create more people so to get reproduced. But we have as well increased what? Machines, industries. We have more people to get educated. And when people are spending time getting educated in jobs, they have less time so to do kids. And then so what we have done, we have created technologies that have created a fact that doesn't make so people to just focusing on reproduce. That's what comes with providing people with more food. We have created technologies that evolve so the economics and the society. So we have the professions, we have a lot of values today, cell phones, we have we can take off our tools, we can take off our health, and this obviously was what was more sustainable, and this leads so for a thing that nowadays people see as a problem, the birth rates being too much lower in the Europe. And obviously so some economists argue that we could fall back in the Malthusian trap if we don't innovate fast enough. So what we see is that this has happened was a tendency in mainly in Europe till 2000s. The birth rate was been decreasing, but even with that talking, what happened? Europe doesn't play alone, and then so other type of players that have emerged, China's, that are people that we recall as the countries that are the emergent countries, and that one so they are with these type of technologies increasing, and what are like the ones that have a more type of birth rate, like in terms of increasing, the ones that are falling more in Malthusian type of trap. India example, the population is growing so much, and then so what happens? These countries that obviously so are growing so much, they kind of are the main creators for climate changes. These also kind of contribute for resource depletion, food shortage that could bring the same problems that have the past civilizations: war, diseases, and problems. And it's the problem that people suffer in Africa. In Africa they suffer a lot with this. They don't have technologies that complement. So with like healthcare, a good type of healthcare in India, we still have a lot of inequality. Regions that are too much poor, those are the ones that most suffer with the type of feedback that comes with other regions that are more developed, creates like the climate changes and obviously all the problems that comes with climate changes, with this the kind of so get used to and limiting the resources available by consuming that much. And then so obviously these effects, the ones that suffer with are always the ones that are more vulnerable. And then so warning since today is the overpopulation in some regions still leads to food and water shortage in that regions as well. Environmental collapse threatens global resource availability, and technology stagnation could slow down economic progress. What are the potential solutions that are so discussed? Continuing technological innovation. At the AI now is emerging biotechnology, renewable energy, so are like new type of technology that fights some ones that they have a thing that contributes for the society but have to be controlled, like the increasing availability of food. So they have to be sometimes the effects that they have in not creating a sustainable environment have to be fought by creating other type of technologies that make so people not reproducing without so having care about better resource distribution to avoid localized famine, so not creating vulnerable regions, and space colonization could be a hypothesis. So some futurists are we need to expand beyond Earth to avoid new resource traps. So I hope this video has take you and has make you have some type of insights, and I expect you as well to help me by subscribing and seeing other videos. So see you in the next one.